I had actually planned out my whole weekend. I was going to create amazing apps with Fable 5. I wrote down all the ideas and did the planning. And then suddenly it was gone. The United States government banned Fable 5. The reason was they claimed it could be easily hacked. Anthropic says this is the case for many models, including Fable 5. And what they ended up doing was this. They said ban everyone who isn't a United States citizen from using Fable 5. Since Anthropic couldn't track that, and they had no system to verify citizenship, they shut it down for everyone. We don't know how it will come back. Somehow Fable 5 will return, because they claim this issue exists in GPT and all other models too. Or maybe they'll actually implement citizenship verification. They'll check using passports. But this made me think of something more important. Actually, models have become far too dependent on the companies that provide us with AI. I'm working hard to prevent this. The people I work with know this. Some people I've talked to in the community know it. I place great importance on local and independent models, but this move highlights the possibility that AI could be taken away from us in an instant. It led me much more towards AI, specifically local AI, and that's actually what I wanted to tell you about, because one day your access to all AI could just vanish. Your government might clash with the US or another AI producing country. Or they might suddenly decide that AI is too useful for everyone and say, this doesn't suit us. And they could shut down AI. They could shut down the commercial models we know. But then, what will happen to all these businesses we've built? What will happen to all the automation systems and AI agents we've set up? That's the question that arises. And here is the answer. Local agents, local AI, basically, models you use on your own computer without paying any company, using your own processing power or power you've rented. That's why I decided to tell you about these. How do I use them? How can you use them? What's the cost? We'll talk about everything briefly, but in detail, so you'll understand why you need local AI. Where do these fit into the picture? Understand it and integrate it into your own workflows. Now, don't get me wrong. These so-called frontier models are incredibly powerful and can actually do a lot of things. But you don't own them. And as we've seen, the most powerful AI model on the planet vanished overnight. Poof. So there's a chance this could go away. With regulations or other things, it could disappear. That's why you should think of it like electricity. Your AIs need to be on the grid at all times. Even if one goes down, you must be able to work with the other. Think of it like a generator, really. If a storm hits, power lines break, or the infrastructure fails, the generator keeps running and provides you with power. We'll move forward with this logic. With the models, I'll explain here. By the way, I actually have a survival AI that I've set up and configured on my Mac Studio for my own system. So, what does that really mean? If everything goes down, I'll explain this in another video. I'll even show you how it can be done. If everything goes down, even if the entire world's internet goes down, I have an AI system sitting there offline that contains all the essential knowledge and information needed for survival, covering everything from electrical work and repairs to all types of systems, vehicles, and vehicle maintenance. I've also built a system that can work with me just by running that Mac Studio with a generator. This is already something I care about, but with this Fable 5 ban, I think everyone needs to start caring about it in different ways. Now, what is a local model? Let's talk about that. In its simplest form, a local model is an AI that runs on your own computer. A local model. It doesn't need internet, it doesn't need an API connection, and you don't have to pay anyone. You download it once, and it stays on your computer. It's actually installed just like you've downloaded a game, and the intelligence doesn't run on someone else's server. It runs on your own server. You gain 3 things when you have this, which I think is very important. 1, privacy. Whatever work you do, for instance, we set these up for legal-related work. Or we set them up for health-related work because it's requested. That information is processed right there by the AI without being transferred to another server, and it stays there. You protect all the information and all the privacy. This is very important for health and law. Second, 0 marginal cost, meaning that AI is now yours, and the price never goes up. There are no extra costs. It's just the system you want to use, whether it's a Mac Mini, a Mac Studio, a MacBook, another regular computer, or a server. It's entirely up to your system. It runs 24/7. You only have your electricity bill. and your bill might only go up by $1 or $2. For example, we do like decision-making simulations, which ad will get more views, what happens to a politician's reputation after the news, who wins the election. We have hundreds of simulations. We have machines running 24/7 for these. They work with local models, and there are constantly thousands of AIs, local intelligence actually, constantly consuming news, getting info, doing other things. So they're always working for you, and I don't pay a single cent to artificial intelligence companies for this, really, because we work with our own AI, local AI. This is very important. And thirdly, as I mentioned earlier, as a survival kit, no one can shut it off. It runs as long as there's power. This is one of the most important points. Now we come to the part about how to start. I think most people start in the wrong place. Everyone looks for the most perfect model for themselves. That's the wrong approach. First, just start running a model. Your goal should simply be to run AI locally. That's it. You don't need to do more than that in the first step. To be able to run AI locally, you actually need a program. There are two main names for this. One is Ollama and the other is LM Studio. These allow you to download and run AIs on your computer. Ollama, well, it runs from the command line. It's better from a developer or more advanced standpoint. In LM Studio, there's a real interface like this. It feels like you're chatting in ChatGPT. You can actually use either one of them. No terminal. If you're not technical, download LM Studio. It's also easier to add models and easier to use compared to Ollama. If you say, I'll do some technical stuff, you can always switch to Ollama later, no problem at all. On Mac Studio, I specifically use the MLX backend for MOE models. This is more technical. Because, how should I put it? It lets me run 24 at once instead of just one. I can make extra requests. That way, I can run it much faster than with Ollama. This is actually a feature specific to the silicon chip in Macs. But it works differently on all of them. Sometimes it runs a bit slower, sometimes it runs a bit faster. But if you use a Mac, definitely don't just settle for Ollama. I'd say check out MLX. It speeds up the system quite a bit. Now, I didn't have LM Studio, so LM Studio, I'm downloading it. Ollama is here too. You can see both of their sites. I'll show you quickly how both of them work. Now, there are models here and here, as you can see. Models are very important. There are models here as well. Models have certain parameters and sizes. And based on these sizes, you can think of how many billion parameters they have as 3 billion, 8 billion, 30 billion. There are places where these fit. For example, a 4 billion model fits on most computers. Think of it as 8 RAM. It fits in 8 gigabytes of RAM, for instance. Again, a 26 billion parameter system needs more RAM and fits on larger computers. The Gemma family, specifically the Gemma 4 family, is very advantageous here. Because, for example, there are 7.9 billion parameters here. Let's just call it 8 billion parameters. It can fit into 12 gigabytes of RAM. That's now possible on most. It comes quite standard and it fits. But for example, with 31 billion parameters and so on, you need higher, like 70, 80, 90 gigabytes of RAM. For larger ones, like 120 billion parameters, you can think of that as needing 150 to 160 gigabytes of RAM. It has various different features like this. You need to choose according to your own machine. But think of it like this. I'm going to show you the Gemma family. It's an open source model released by Google, and it can do tool calls. Tool calling is very important. I mean, it can use tools it sees. It also understands when you provide a visual. It understands audio too. It's built on Gemini 3. It's made from the 3 family, and the Gemini 3s are quite successful. And it's a model that can handle many of your tasks. I'll demonstrate using this, but you can choose this model in a way that suits you here. Okay, it's downloaded now. We even installed it. As I said, model selection here is proportional to the computer. Let me open it now. LM Studio is opening. The simple one is LM Studio, as I mentioned. We clicked open. Local AI on your computer. Okay, what's there? It says there are Gemmas. It says you can download Gemma. I won't download it from here now, but you can download the Gemma 4 family from here, for example. Let's do this. 4. The smallest model, the 4 billion parameter model, that is. I said let it download. It fits even in 8 gigabytes of RAM. Let it download while I'm with you. Meanwhile, let me tell you a bit about which model is for which task. Now the models here, the models here. Now this Minimax Kimi, which are large parameter models, as I said. These are more for coding. The parameters look better over here. For coding, Quen is the same way. I would put Quen in first place. By the way, Alibaba's Apache 2.0 license model is really good at coding. It works locally. It really works successfully. For the 35 billion parameter one, 70 gigabytes of RAM will be enough. For the 27 billion parameter one, again, a 50 gigabyte RAM will be sufficient. It easily fits into a RAM between 40 and 50. It won't fail. This is for those. Then DeepSeek should be around here somewhere. Let me see. Let's find DeepSeek. Is it here? It's not in Ollama. Maybe it's in the other one. Sorry, it's not here, but if there's DeepSeek, DeepSeek is also good for coding. Since I mentioned gemmas, you can perform all other functions. I mean, you can have it examine an invoice. If you have it look at other tasks, gemmas will do a lot of things. And there's something that's not talked about much, which is actually the models things. Systems we call quantization. You can think of quantization as compression. For example, there are features like Q4 and Q5. They're available in every single model. These allow the model to run in smaller spaces, meaning on smaller RAM and on less powerful computers without losing quality. This is important. You can also see the size of each model here. And why is this important? For instance, quantized models actually work more effectively because they're compressed. This way you can run a 12 billion parameter model when you'd normally run a 4. Now it's downloaded, as you can see, 4B. I'm clicking continue. Okay, we're in. It's on the phone too. Great. You can also talk from your phone. Now we've arrived here. I click new chat. It says send message to a model. We need to select a model from here. What does it see here? It sees it. By the way, many Gemma models are installed on the computer, but LM Studio doesn't see them. The reason for this is that they run on MLX. I'll show that too. In Ollama too. Let's see if it will see the 4B model here among the models. It doesn't see the installed Gemma quants. Let me exit and restart. It's here. I typed 4B. Whoops, look at the processes. It said, hello, how can I help you today? By the way, as you can see, this ran locally. I'm not paying any money for this language model anymore. It's asking what you can do. I asked the model to tell me about itself and what it can do. As I said, it's our local model. It says, I am Gemma 4. I was developed by Google DeepMind. It says, I am a large language model. I exist digitally. It says I have no feelings or anything. What can I do? I can do language translations. I translate from one language to another. I can provide technical assistance. I asked, can you see images? Yes, it can see images too. It says I was created for this. For example, you can add an image here. Let me add this one. I said, describe this image to me. Let's see if it really sees the image. It does. It understood everything. It understood what the image was. And as you can see, it explained it in quite a detailed way. Something that can fit into 8 gigabytes of RAM. It made a local language model, so you can process all your invoices like this if you want. By setting up the right system, I'll show you something even better now. You've seen how we download it, how we use it, and how easy it is. The system handles everything itself anyway, but let's say we have an AI agent. It could be our own agents or Hermes. It doesn't matter at all. We have an AI agent. I'll show you what happens this time and how to use it. To work with MLX models, for example, we'll write it like this. We need to write it from the terminal. A little bit more technical. Let's go. Okay, it replied in Turkish. It explained its skills again. I can do coding. Can you see visuals? I asked. I don't see visuals directly, but I'm a text-based AI. Okay. Now this one, or Gemma, or its visual model, it doesn't matter at all. We can put it into an agent. Now I've opened a new terminal. I typed Hermes chat. Wait a second, why didn't it work? I think it worked. It's opening now. It's here. You can see the model as GPT 5.5 right here. Let's go. So normally it works based on ChatGPT. Now, since it's MLX, it's not easy to set up. Normally when you type model here, you can select other things. You can select it by typing model picker. Switch model, you can actually select others as well. From where? It only sees the installed models here. You can also select by giving the model name here, but I told Claude Code that, okay, just direct this Quen to Hermes directly. I'm typing Hermes chat again to restart it in the new terminal. As you can see, the model has changed. Let's go. It says agent is starting and our Hermes is now working with Quen. As you see, locally without any connection, it takes time to start. Greetings, I am your agent, it says. This time, as you can see, Quen gave the answer. Now, 24/7, I have a system working with me without even an internet connection. Quen uses a little bit more emojis. No problem at all, but I can have all my tasks done from here. I explained its setting as I said, I did it here. But you can also select local models directly from the dashboard. You can also put Gemma, it doesn't necessarily have to be Quen. I hope this has been useful for you, as I said. Your biggest constraint here will be the context. That's the most important part. Because when you pay, they give a large context to the cloud models. But here, you have as much space as your RAM. As it gets too large, it might start to struggle. So keep it clean. Don't make the sessions too long. Close it, start your tasks again. Especially for constant research, looking into topics, accounting, you can have these agents do everything. I'll talk about many examples of it. Now let me give a few business ideas while I'm at it. You can make an on-device AI for regulated sectors. Health, law, finance, they have the money. They can buy a device, and instead of legally sending their data to a cloud API, to a cloud, which they can't, if they have the models entirely themselves, they can perform great operations. Data never leaves. This is a very important thing. Second, versions of this data never leaves. For example, you can take a popular tool, a popular note taker, something else popular, whatever business is popular, and make a version of it that doesn't leak data. You can turn this into a business model. Then, besides these, for more sensitive data, AI ships, AI planes, disaster regulations, you can develop systems like these. To sum up, the point wasn't that cloud is bad and local models are good. It's a lesson on how we should use everything. If a model crashes, we need to have something else for fallback, so we can move forward. That's actually what I've been trying to tell you. Download Ollama or LM Studio. Try it on your own computer if you have the space and the RAM. Run your own tasks. This way, you'll see much better how everything works. But the key scenario is cloud does some tasks, ChatGPT does some, and your local model does others. They distribute the workload. If one fails, the others keep working even if they aren't quite as good. Think of it like that. Thank you so much for watching. See you